Welcome to part one of completing the Summer Food Service Program application packet. On this webinar, we're going to be talking about the sponsor info sheet in particular. So to get started, you're looking at the CMP Web login screen. If you do not have a username and password, you'll have to email our office and we'll send you a Microsoft form that you just fill out and we'll provide you with a user ID and a password. So I'm going to log in as a sponsor here under Perry. This is just for demo purposes only. This is our CMP Web test site. So this isn't the live site that we use. So I'm able to show you everything that you see on your end. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And if you're a sponsor that also has other child nutrition programs under them, you'll see them listed here in CMP Web. As you can see, Perry also does the school nutrition program, so along with SFSP. So I'm going to go ahead and click the SFSP link because that's what we're here for. And this brings us to our home screen. So right now we just have a little welcome text here, but when we get rolling into the summer, our office will post important messages here for CMP Web. To get onto your sponsor summary page, you're going to go to this SFSP link up in the left-hand corner of your screen. And here you see all of the program years. So what CMP Web will do is list previous years, but this year you're starting with 2022. All of these other years listed here, they don't have any information in here, but going forward, they will save your information year to year. So go ahead and click 2022 to start this application. And this brings you to your sponsor summary page. So this is everything you need to know about your sponsor application packet. Items 1 through here are required documents that we'll have to fill out in the applications tab. And then here you have some other required documents that may or may not be applicable, but we'll see going forward if they are. So if you go ahead and click the applications tab, we're going to activate the sponsor information sheet. So applications. And to start the sponsor information sheet, you're going to go over here to this plus sign. And this brings you to your sponsor info sheet. So I will let you know that my web browser has a bunch of names and addresses already saved in there. So for the sake of getting through the document faster, I'm just going to click and hit enter whatever names pop up in my autofill settings. But let's get started. So you're going to see here a mailing address and a street address. Some sponsors use a PO box. This is where you'd enter it because maybe their mailing address isn't actually where they're physically located. So if it's the same, if your mailing address is the same as your street address, you can hit this nice little copy button and it will paste it over to the street address. So again, I'm just going to autofill an address in here. It's not going to be any kind of correct address. And then maybe I'll do the copy here. Don't forget to add your county. So there you go. There's a mailing address and a street address. So remember, this is for your sponsor. So it might be your central office, but it's where your main location is for your sponsor. The executive contact, formerly known as the legal agent, this is the person that has legal authority to sign documents related to the sponsor. Typically, it's a superintendent if you're in a school district. So go ahead and fill in their name here. And again, I am just letting this autofill. This copy from address, so this will pick where you would like mail for this person to go, whether it is the mailing address or the street address, wherever you'd like their contact to be affiliated with. The food service contact, your food service director, anybody that is in charge of the summer program. This is going to be the person that you put here. Food service director. Pick an email, that's my email. My address will be the street address. And the next step is actually a glitch right now that is getting fixed, but do you see this copy from executive contact? That should actually be down here under claim approver, because typically the food service contact files the claim or puts in the claim numbers, but then the claim approver will come behind the food service contact and approve the claim. And this is typically your executive contact. If the executive contact or the superintendent wishes to designate a second person, so if they themselves don't wish to be that claim approver, but they want somebody else to be, you can name that person here. But 9 times out of 10, we see the superintendent also here. So again, I'm just gonna go ahead, fill something in. Hopefully that takes it. Okay. Next step, your general information about your sponsor. So your sponsoring type, this is auto-filled for you by what CMP Web has in the system for your sponsor. If this isn't correct, if you're a nonprofit and it says public, let us know and we'll fix that for you. It's a pretty easy fix, but that should align. So just double check number 19. 20, application type. So we're just going to drop this down. So what are you? If you're a school food authority or a school, you click this. If you're a private nonprofit, go ahead and click private nonprofit. If you're a camp or if you're a government authority. So go ahead and click whatever is applicable to you. And again, this is not your sites. This is you as a sponsor, what you operate as. Your method of meal preparation. So you as a sponsor, this is asking if you make meals in-house or if you purchase meals from a third party. So if you're making meals in-house, you would select self-prep. And then you can see in number 22, it autofills central kitchen because it's assuming that you have one location that you are making all of your meals. If that is the case, or one school facility that you're making all of your meals, if that's the case, go ahead and fill out the name of the school and the address. If you make all of your meals at individual sites, go ahead and say clear selection here and just leave it. If you purchase meals, even if it's just for one site and you have 10 other sites going, but if you do purchase meals from a third party, click vended here, even if it's just for one of your sites. And then you can see down in 22, it does autofill for food service management company. That's what FSMC stands for, or vendor. So you're going to let us know who the vendor is and their address. That's all. If you have multiple central kitchens that you wish to list, or maybe you have a central kitchen and a food service management company, see this add lines button. If you click this, it will give you another address to fill out if that's what you wish to do, is add more than one kitchen site. Number 23 is asking if you allow adults to purchase meals. So if you say yes here, you do allow adults to purchase meals, you're going to let us know how much you charge for a complete meal to the adult. Remember, the price should cover the cost of the food and labor it takes to make that meal. You have to charge adults unless they are working for your program if you pay them. And if that's the case, you can't claim those adult meals for reimbursement. That's going to be a cost to your program, but you are allowed to give a worker meal. Number 24, does the sponsor provide an ongoing year-round service of some type to the community? So if you're a school, it's pretty obvious. You can just say yes, and then in number 25, you'd say you're a school. If you're a nonprofit agency, tell us about what other services you offer the community as your nonprofit, aside from your summer food service program. But if you're a residential camp, if you're an overnight camp, just say overnight camp here, and you don't have to put anything in. In 26, does any other agency other than the sponsor provide site personnel? So if you're getting maybe if you're getting other staff from a third-party entity, just say yes here, and then let us know what the third-party entity is and how many staff you're receiving and what are their duties. That's all we need here. Number 28, This is just kind of asking you that you as a sponsor are responsible for covering the following topics when you are doing your training. So what's the purpose of the program, the meal pattern requirements, your site eligibility, the duties of the people that work on staff, and then your record keeping and your day-to-day site operations. Number 29 is just acknowledgement that you as a sponsor are responsible for, monitoring and discussing any problems with the sites that you're seeing, recommending to them corrective action if it's needed, and then following up to make sure that those problems have been fixed. So it's just overall acknowledging that you're responsible for the operations of your sites. Number 30, has the applicant organization ever been terminated or determined that it is seriously deficient in its operation of the summer food service program or any other program, nutrition program? Hopefully this is no, but if for some reason you were determined seriously deficient in summer food program or any other child nutrition, say yes and give us a call and let's talk about it, because that could be an issue with being allowed to operate the program. Number 31, list the names of other federal agencies providing assistance to your organization. So if oftentimes, for instance, if you're involved in USDA foods, food service, food distribution, then you'd list this here because this is helping you with your program. So if you do receive USDA foods, go ahead and list here. And if there's any other federal programs that we don't know about that is helping you, go ahead and list it in 31. 32, has your organization ever been found to be in civil rights non-compliance? Let's hope not, but just say yes or no here. 33, what efforts will be used to ensure that minority populations have equal opportunity to participate? So this is just making sure that you're targeting minority groups that may not have, your general access to your social media, or you might be outreaching a little specially to them to make sure that all your bases are covered for outreach in the community. So just select the ones that are applicable to you. Number 34, do these efforts also reflect methods to assure minority grassroots organizations participate in the program? So are you covering all your bases in your community to make sure that everybody knows that they have access to your program? That's what it's asking. Number 35, is your organization faith-based or affiliated with a church? Yes or no? And then we have the lovely assurance statement for civil rights compliance. Make sure you read this and hit agree. Number 37, did the applicant organization receive an advance last year? So this is just simply asking if you got an advance to do your operations last year. You can just say yes or no. If you did you end up having to pay funds back because you didn't need all the money you asked for? Just say yes or no. 39 is asking if you would like an advance for this year. And for the sake of showing you how it works, I'm going to say yes to 39. And then 40 through 42 asks what kind of advance you want. So do you want it for June? Do you want an operating advance or an administrative advance, or both? So typically your operating advances you're going to ask for more money here because this is your food and your kitchen labor and all of that type of operating funding. Administrative is, typically your costs are not as intense in the administrative side. Your administrative expenses are typically the labor that's involved in paperwork and claim filing, maybe gas mileage, but typically your operating advances are much more than your administrative. So you would just enter the amount here that you're requesting for your June advance. I'm going to unclick this because I actually don't want to put an advance under this application. And then the sponsor certification end. So if you click this here, it's going to bring up our summer food service agreement. This is also on the first page of your application packet, which we'll see a little bit later. You're going to acknowledge that you've read it as, remember, you're filling this out as the food service director, or the administrator of the summer food service program. So you're acknowledging that you have read the summer agreement and agreed to its terms and conditions. And then number 43, you're just acknowledging that all the information that you've put into this sponsor info sheet is true and correct to the best of your knowledge. So I'm going to hit save now, and I know it's going to give me some errors because I purposely left some questions unanswered. So let's see. See, this is telling me that I do have errors. There's something missing on my page. So I'm going to say continue. And over here is the window pane, or like the key to your sponsor info sheet. And it's telling me that in general information, I have 12 unanswered questions, or I just have blanks that need to be filled in. So let's see what they are. Okay, so I said that I was a vended school and I didn't put in, an vended school and I didn't put in an address. So I'm going to say clear selection and go to self-prep. And then what else? What else is in red? Okay. I'm going to say that I'm a school here because it's asking what other kind of year-round activities do I do in my community. I'm going to say that no other state agency or no other agency provides site personnel. Yes. I'm going to cover all these things. Now let's see, is there anything else? Let's hit save now. I have to go and agree to that statement again about things being correct and accurate. I still have errors. Let's see. One error left. Don't forget to certify. And there, that is done. So now this is in pending submission. And when I complete the rest of my sponsor summary, I'll be able to submit it to the state agency for approval.